Today we're going to talk about your kids' college. Oh, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to talk about our kids' college funds. Okay, these are not college funds, but well, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. Today we're pulling out the case, a little special secret case to talk to you all about like investing for your kids' college fund. Are you freaking kidding me? You don't actually think that that's what you're doing, do you? I mean, like, I get it. Maybe that's like what you tell your wife, but like, you don't actually think that you're investing for you think you're actually investing for your kids' college fund with all this? Come on, man. Today we're going to talk about investing in cardboard and investing for your kids' college fund and the reality of this whole world and stuff that we are talking about. For those of you who don't watch the podcast that gets ruthlessly interrupted on Friday mornings by my daughter, I do have kids and I love my kids and I very much am excited for my kids' future. And I often tell myself that some of this and all the things that I do will matter to them and will allow them to have a leg up in life and moving forward. But the more and more that I realize it, the more and more I realize that that is just a thing that I tell to myself to justify the collecting and hanging out and buying things that realistically I don't need. Like right now, I am secretly trying to complete a Wizards of the Coast, Pokemon set. So from first edition all the way to Legendary Collection. I'm stopping at Legendary Collection because the reverse holos are going to be my goal for like 2 years from now. But my goal this year and next year is to complete a kind of Wizards of the Coast Magic or Pokemon collection. And I've got a good start on it. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of something I just kind of do on the side. But collecting cards, investing in Pokemon, investing in Magic the Gathering has a lot of merit to it. There's a lot of reason to do it. There is a win there. You can see gains in this kind of stuff that you don't see in the stock market and in your Roth IRAs and your whatever. But the reality is that the vast majority of viewers and the vast majority of me's will not take the effort and time to actually exit their positions correctly when they go to sell their stuff in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years down the line. And this is the ugly kind of reality that I think most people need to address. Is that on this side of the camera, most of the people who you're watching, whether that be me or somebody else that talks about investing in cardboard, have businesses connected to this whole thing. And their kind of purchases and their potential sales in the future are all wrapped up in this idea that they have infrastructure behind them to actually exit positions. They have relationships, they have connections, they have the ability to actually sell and exit the things that they collect. The slabs, I mean, like, this is crazy. Let's just do like a random slab pull. Completely random slab pull. PSA 9 Lieutenant Surge's Raichu first edition. Really cool. I actually graded that one myself. Oh, this one's cool. Here's a Koga's Ditto. This one's really easy to get in a 10 though. PSA 10 because it's got no hollow. Like, it's just got that little bit of hollow. Anyway, the way that we have to exit positions should not be treaded lightly on. For the average consumer, for the average person watching the video, the idea of selling 75 slabs on eBay it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. If you haven't been doing it consistently and regularly, then in 20 years when the time comes to do that, eventually what you're going to end up doing is just taking a lump sum from somebody, which is going to greatly impact the amount of money that you made off of the sale and off of the stuff. And so that's like a big thing that I think a lot of people forget about, is that at some point you have to have an exit plan, not just an exit like timeline, right? It's not just like, hey, in 10 years I'm going to sell my Magic sealed collection. Or in 5 years, I'm going to sell, the Pokemon. When the Pokemon market gets hot again, I'm going to sell my Pokemon. You actually have to have the infrastructure and team and time behind you in order to do that. And most people don't do that. Most people don't have that. Most people don't have the work ethic and the energy to sell cards for another 2 years after they decide that they want to start selling them. And so that's a really, really big task in order to work for it. So this is just kind of a video to hone in on the idea of collecting is great, and it opens you up to a whole nother realm of possibilities for investing in the future and to do whatever, but it shouldn't be the catalyst of which you build your future on. You always, this is not financial advice, but you always need to have your kind of Roth IRAs, worked out. If you don't know what that is, go find somebody way smarter than me that can tell you how to do that. I'm not going to be that guy for you. You gotta make sure you're maxing out your kind of no debt. Like you're paying off your credit. People who do this collect and also have credit card debt, it's insane to me. Get your credit card debt paid off. Make sure your kids, you've got some form of actual money college fund. Because what happens when Pokemon goes to 0 and this Heracross is already 0. Blastoise, this Blastoise is worthless, right? What happens when Pokemon actually goes to 0 and people stop collecting cards because the digital age comes or whatever? You have to have other options in order to do this. Now, this is not just poo-pooing the idea though. If you have all those things crossed off, this can be a really cool thing potentially to invest in your future. Now, my hope with all this is that my daughters end up loving it. That right now my daughters love it, but they're 5 and 2. They love anything I love. That's what they do. They love anything I love. But eventually, maybe they will come to really enjoy collecting Pokemon cards for themselves, Magic, that kind of thing. And then they get this jumpstart of this really cool collection and really cool, that they get to do whatever they want to in the future. They get to decide if they want to sell that. It won't be me doing the work. It'll be them. Maybe it jumpstarts their own Pokemon business, right? But who knows what actually happens? The other side of that could also happen. They could grow up and they could absolutely hate it. They could want nothing to do with it. And at that point, I'll probably be way less excited about this stuff, and I'll probably just end up selling it because it doesn't. There's my girls right there. Hey, Dad. At some point, it won't matter to me as much because it won't matter to them. And so at the end of the day, if you are looking at all this stuff as investment pieces for the future, for your kids or for yourself or for whatever, there's no wrong in that. As long as you have all the rights attached to it, as long as you consistently have a wealth of different ideas and options for the future, I don't think there's anything wrong in collecting and investing cards for the future, but you have to have all your ducks in a row before you start doing that. Then you also have to be willing to let go. If maybe it's not exactly what you thought it was going to be, you got to be willing to let go. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I hope you have yourself a fantastic day. Let's look at some more cards. What else we got? The Celebrations Charizard PSA 10. My daughter pulled this when she was like 4 or 5. Got a lot of Charizards. Nothing major that's not on. Oh, there's a 9 in base 2 and a 4. These are cool. I like these. These are really hard to come across. Let's see what else we got. Let's just show off my daughter's future Pokemon collection. You got a Shining Gyarados. Shining Gyarados and a 9. Base set unlimited Shadowless Charizard in the 7.5. She's a huge fan of Mew. There's a Mew Star. Chansey. Oh, these are the first edition. So I'm close. I've got like 7 of the first edition holos. Chansey. I've got Venusaur, Mewtwo, Charizard, Blastoise. There's the Chansey, the Poliwrath, the Alakazam. There's a Shadowless there. Gyarados, Shadowless. Venusaur. Dude, vintage Pokemon, can we talk about this real quick at the end of this video? Vintage Pokemon compared to modern Pokemon is so atrocious right now. Modern Pokemon is on this like ridiculous tear, and vintage Pokemon's completely dead. Like, it's kind of like Magic the Gathering right now. It's kind of like vintage Magic. The old stuff is completely and utterly useless. It has done nothing since like post-pandemic crash. It has just flatlined and stayed like that. Vintage Pokemon. Nobody cares about it. The only thing people care about is the alt arts and the blah blah blahs and whatever. And man, I think that's a huge miss. I think that's a huge miss. I don't know. Have a great day. Be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again next video.